apparently, according to the Telegraph this morning, the Disney Plus deal, I thought it was only going to be about streaming rights and distribution. Apparently, from what they're reporting, this is a co-production deal. So now Doctor Who, while they're claiming the BBC will retain creative rights, we'll see how long that lasts. So now they're co-produced by Bad Wolf and the Disney Corporation. I am not feeling good. Yeah, well, I'm going to give it a shot, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is this, I guarantee you right now, there are sphincters being blasted wide open from here past Gallifrey Base. Because you know what they're going to say now. Remember the last time Doctor Who and American? And I die laughing because I'm like, guys, Fox did the Doctor Who 96 movie, but it was directed by a British director, co-produced by the BBC, had a British writer. Do you want me to keep going down the list? So I wish people would quit thumbing their nose at America saying it was our fault that things didn't work out with the 96 movie, because other than the fact that I think it was filmed in Canada, sure, it had on me, my Fox and American Corporation was behind it, but it was still pretty much a British production. Come on, the lead star was British. I'm not kidding. Go look this stuff up. You wouldn't believe it. But here's the other bit of news, and I forgot to put it in the title. You may want to be sitting down for this, some of you. One of my birds has sung a very, very, very familiar tune. And this has been a bit of speculation ever since we found out that RTD is taking back over along with Julie Gardner. The word I'm hearing is this, that Murray Gold turned down I think it was RTD's Nolly. They passed it to someone else. He passed it to someone else because he wanted to do RTD's Doctor Who. So according to one of my birds, it's not just RTD and Julie Gardner, but Murray Gold is coming back. So we're going to have to sit back and see if that comes to fruition. But I want you to keep in mind, this is the same person who told me about Sacha Dhawan being the Master. This is the same person who told me about Tennant becoming the 14th Doctor. So I'm putting a lot of stock in it because they've been pretty damn reliable. So don't get too excited, but yeah, they're saying that Murray Gold is coming back. It just hasn't been announced yet. But the fact that, yeah, Disney's now co-producing Doctor Who does raise some worries, as you'll, because I'm afraid they're going to aim it to be more kid-friendly than it already is, and sometimes that can lead to disaster. Then again, Sarah Jane Adventures was kind of more kid-friendly, so I don't know. So for you folks who didn't hear that, you just missed out. All right. So now, yeah, the Telegraph is saying that Disney is doing more than just streaming Doctor Who. It's more than a streaming and copyright. It's a streaming right deal. That apparently it is a co-production deal. Now that part I hadn't heard of this morning. I always assumed it was going to be, for distribution. Because you've seen what happens when, Disney gets their, stubby little cartoon fingers into things sometimes. And like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there still throwing fits over the Star Wars, sequel movies. And I hate to say it, but I'm one of them. I was not a big fan of them. Yep, there's a strong possibility we're going to get Duck Frost. Or even worse, go back to the good old days when we have, Daleks on ice. Ugh. But the big lingering question is this. Murray Gold was the fellow who composed the music on the new series from Eccleston all the way up to when Moffat left at the end of Capaldi. For those who just asked. Segan Akinola took over for the Chibnall Whittaker era, and then he decided to leave with the rest of them. So, no, I didn't have any problem with the music on Class. It was just was a mess. But the lingering question, let me get back to that, is this. Does this mean that Missy is now a Disney princess? Well, she's more like the Wicked Witch. I bet Michelle Gomez is going to work that up. But we'll have to sit back and wait and see, because if it is a co-production, it means Doctor Who is now being co-produced by Bad Wolf and co-produced by Disney, which means they are going to have a budget that's going to make, oh goodness. Sidney Newman probably just sat up out of his grave and said, what the, because of the budget, possibilities there. Now, one thing I would like to see return that they did do, matter of fact, I don't know why people harp on the 96 movie so bad, because it was because of that console that McGann had. That was the basis for every Doctor Who console that you had afterward. Because when RTD and all them saw the 96 movie, they loved the shots of that tall central column in the middle being joined. So that's why, well, except for, the Whittaker one was a big crystal that went up and down that was strangely, well, we are going to talk about the shape of it. So yeah, her and Murray Gold's back. And that the Disney thing is not just about streaming rights, it is a distribution, it is a co-production deal. And it's like, boy, of somebody's really been going to bat for the Doctor Who. Oh, that show that's such a failure, and they're still screaming failure at it, even though it's going to clear, the one section of it alone cleared 4.04 million on the overnights. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the overnights, but that's going to hit at least 5 or 6 million when the plus sevens come in. And compared to a lot of shows out there, that's damn good these days for overnight regular television. See, everybody's living in this dream world where, they're comparing it to, like, you know, Voyage of the Damned, and it's like, guys, you know how many streaming things we had around the time Voyage of the Damned came out? Okay, so they've already started. All right, thank you. That, yeah, Disney's going to run Doctor Who. I didn't bother to watch the rest of House of the Dragon. It just bored the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just the same old dance to, you know, set to a different tune. Yeah, I got to remember to watch Devil's Hour because I've been hearing a lot about it. I've been seeing the ads for it. Then again, there's a lot of things I haven't gotten around to watching yet. But that's what I was thinking. Thank you, Mike. That's what I was getting at. I went off track. The 3D hollow map that McGann brought up in the Cardis tonsil room. Oh god, I almost said the Cardis tonsil room. The TARDIS console room. That was an incredibly beautiful thing. Here's the thing. The movie, the 96 movie, even though it was produced by Fox is now a part of Disney, but there were so many different sub-companies and things like that running around in that particular production. It would be nice if it would finally sort out, you know, all the hubbub that went around that, because one of the reasons Dr. Grace Holloway and Chang Lee never appeared in Big Finish, even though the actors who portrayed them, you know, have done different roles for Big Finish, is because nobody knows, I think, probably even to this day, who actually owns the rights to those characters. See, Doctor and the Master and all that are part of the BBC. That's in script, that's etched in stone. But the characters who were created in the movie, such as, you know, Grace and, you know, Chang Lee, played, of course, by, you know, Daphne Ashbrook and, you know, Lee Ji-so. Those characters are in limbo. Or they were as of the time I interviewed Daphne Ashbrook a few years ago. Nobody really knows who. It's all a big legal mess, and that's why they haven't been on Big Finish. So that's the, you know, that's the biz, sweetheart, as they say. It's, well, there was like I said, I stopped harping on Moffat. I like Moffat for the most part, but like I said, you got to sit down and realize what he was dealing with at the time. Inner politics and things like that really screw things up. Well, all right, that's another thing I got to break to you. The word going around is that RTD was extremely glad that Chibnall did the multi-Doctor appearances in the centenary, whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it. But that's because they're not going to be in the 60th anniversary special, at least not as far as they know. It's going to be mainly Tennant and Tate, and maybe, and I think some of the companions, maybe. But I just want to keep finding out, you know, like I said, I can understand why they didn't have Susan Foreman there. But because, you know, they left her in 2150 and during the Dalek invasion time, or whatever they time it at, because I think it ran from 2150 to 2162, the Dalek occupation. But well, I wouldn't count on Capaldi anytime soon, because I think he's taking a break away from Doctor Who. I think there was a lot more going on there than I've hinted at, but like I said, I don't know the full story. Nobody does, but it doesn't sound good from what I've heard as to how that panned out. But because the one story I've heard repeatedly is Chibnall did offer to let him stay, and they were going to do a surprise few episodes in Regeneration originally, and that's why a lot of things had to get rewritten to the status quo it ended up. But like I said, I got to hear more on that. No. Eccleston's. I don't see Eccleston coming back. One of the, from what I understand, two of the people he had bones to pick with were RTD and Julie Gardner, who are now basically running the show again. And I don't think he's going to go back to that. I'll be shocked if he does. I just looked at the time. I've got to go. So word is that Disney is now a co-producer of Doctor Who, along with Bad Wolf, but the BBC is going to retain creative rights. We'll see how long that lasts. Also, the other word I'm hearing, one of my birds is singing that Murray Gold is possibly returning. And originally I thought it wasn't going to happen, but what they're hearing, it is. So I got to take care. I got to get going. So take care. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Hopefully we'll see you all in the future. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.